Hey traders, Brian Horton with BK Trading Academy. We're going to be looking at GBPAUD. Don't want to waste too much of your time. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So we always say to look at the higher time frame, but I want you guys to kind of look at a couple things here. I want to show you the deception of time frame and how it can deceive you in your markups. And I actually did a similar video to this, but we're going to be evaluating and analyzing GBPAUD to drive home the example I was talking about. Okay, so we're starting on the 4-hour time frame, and we want to look for key levels. That's number one. And number two, we want to see what trend we're in. All right. So just looking at this 4-hour, I may say this is a strong key level. Because you know what? Back in February, this price came off here and rejected, shot to the downside, and did something similar here on March 7th, shot to the downside, and now it is coming off of this zone again. So what should I do? This looks like a promising area to sell. So this is what I mean by the deception of your time frame that you're looking at, which can affect your trend line, and then also scrolling in and out like this, right? So all I'm doing is just pushing my mouse up, scrolling my mouse up just to kind of see and spread it out a bit. I see a strong white bullish candle to the upside. Yours could be green depending on how you have yours set up, to the upside with little wick rejection. Now it could continue to pull back down, exposing the wick, and it can give us some promising reversals, meaning that, hey, I can go ahead and sell at that time. All right. But also look at this here. As I scroll out, I'm looking for price action when it's been tested at this time previously. So if I shoot this rectangle over again, look at this. It's shot right over here. So back in December of 2022, it shot above it. So if you sold right here, you have to look even further in which price may go. Now, price at this area came to about 1.80716. And if I scroll up, now I just kind of push my wheel over to the side to see the highest price action. Now I'm starting to expose more of my chart. Now I'm saying price may even come up to here. Okay. So another thing you want to also take note of is that even though price shot here in the past in February, came back again in this month, and then came back again for a second time, we have to ask ourselves, why is it coming to retest this resistance multiple times? And the logical explanation could be, hey, buyers are starting to take notice of this price here. Sellers also take notice of this price. However, sellers won, buyers pushed it back up. Sellers won just a tiny bit. Buyers are pushing it back up. And so clearly buyers are in command right now. So there's a strong possibility that buyers can push this up to this level right here, in which we see in the past. And that's over 215 pips or so, in which price can come back and retest. So if you sell at this level, you could be absolutely wrong. However, we know that this is a strong level. This is a minor level in which you can get a pullback for about 50 to 60 pips or so before continuing to the upside. So it can look something like this. Price is here. It could shoot down for about 40 or 50 pips and continue up, right? So that's the ingredients of an uptrend, where you have higher highs and then you have higher lows, higher highs. So this could be a possible higher high in which it's retesting this zone here, bring it back down to a higher low, higher high, if it retested zone, and then that can cap out. So understanding your levels and your time and the time frames that you are looking at as well. So let me show you another thing what you should do. You want to go out to the higher time frame. Now I'm going to the daily time frame, and now I'm seeing it a lot better here. All right. So now that I see this here, so this was the actual area that I marked that was over 200 pips away. This is where we're currently at right now. And so look, one person may say, hey, I'm on the daily time frame. Let me scrunch up my chart. And it's important for you to do this here. Okay. So you may look at this here and on the daily time frame, and you may say, what trend am I in? Am I in an uptrend or a downtrend? So you may do something like this, come all the way to the bottom, get your trend line, mark it from the bottom here, and say, I am clearly in an uptrend. And then I even look left over here for clues in which price may continue to rise. All right. Some people may go out to the weekly time frame, come out, and they will scrunch their chart up even more and say, hey, what trend am I in? I'm going out even further. And then they could say, hey, I think I'm in a downtrend. Look at this. So I will get my trend line here, and they will continue to scrunch it up, get my trend line from this peak here. This was back in August 2008, and do something like this and say, hey, I'm in a downtrend. That's exactly where I'm in. Or they may not even scroll out that far, right? They may even come and take it to about right here, which was back in August 2015, and say I'm in a downtrend. And they're technically not wrong at all. However, you only want to go out that far if you plan on trading for years, right? If you putting a position trade on and you holding it for years and you're investing a great deal on GBPAUD. And the reason why is because we're comparing what happened in the past and we're connecting the dots to what may happen in the future. So we always take it out to the furthest line here, okay? And then I'll adjust my top of my trend line. And then I would do something like this, okay? And then I would say, hey, I'm in a downtrend. The reason why this will be incorrect, especially if you're a scalper, if you are an intraday trader, swing trader, or even a position trader, if you plan on trading for a few months, is because price is right here, okay? So here's this little area right here. This is where you're at. You're saying that, hey, I'm in a downtrend and I'm selling at resistance. So if my resistance zone is at this particular trend line, that means I'm going to get my measuring tool from here to the trend line. That is over 1,500 pips, in which that can take months to happen, and it may not even happen. And so I can look left here and I see that price respected this area. So this is a strong area right here, strong area right here. And so if price comes here, I may sell it. Now, what's wrong with that is that we're nowhere near this price. This is irrelevant to us right here, right? That can take months, maybe even years to even happen, okay? So I want to drill down and I want to scroll in a bit more, okay? That's irrelevant. I want to scroll in and see exactly what's going on. I want to see my local trend. And so I'm going to go down to maybe the daily time frame and focus on what's going on. And I'm going to spread it out a bit. And sometimes there can be a deception in your trading because if you don't practice this and look into this further, then you can be deceived. So I'm on the daily time frame, so I'm only focused on the local trend, okay? So I'm going to even go in and zoom in even more. And what I would do is grab my trend line, grab it from the swing low of my local trend and do something like this, all right? So I'm going to spread it out a bit more and do that. I'm going to copy and clone this trend line and take it to the other end. And I take it to the swing high, the highest peak here where my wick is. And now I see that price is approaching my resistance zone on my daily chart, on my daily trend line. So now I have a channel. I'm trapping price on the local trend. I look left for clues and I see that I have a strong resistance area here, a strong resistance area here, and I look over here and it can possibly reach over here. All right. And then I can draw and extend my resistance zone a bit to match this area. So now all of this area is appealing to me in which I can sell. All right. And the difference between where price is at and the highest price can go locally is about 40 pips or so. And then it can even reach up to about here, possibly. And that can take maybe a few days to maybe a few weeks. But if my trend line is drawn appropriately, price shouldn't go any further than this area right here, bouncing off of my trend line, respecting my key level resistance and doing something like this. All right, for at least 70 to 100 pips to the downside. And although this would be considered a counter trend trade, that's how you want to do it. So you don't want to zoom out too far because it's irrelevant to your trading strategy. You don't want to go too close because you may not be examining the right trend. All right, so examining this pair, I believe that price can shoot down because we're at a nice level, starting to pull back just a bit. However, this candle is very strong. So now I want to go down to the lower time frame, to the 4-hour time frame, and just kind of dissect it. I can go lower and lower if I want, but we can see there's very little wick exposed right here. And that wick is not a very significant trend reversal or reversal in price to me. I need to see more of a wick exposed like this here. So look at this red wick right here where it's nice and exposed and it continued to the downside. This wick right here, nice and long and exposed, continue to the downside. And now since we've been making higher highs and higher lows, we have this strong push to the upside. And then we have a pullback. Look how deep retraced this price was. It came back, shot back up, and now the retracement is very minimal. And so this gives me the idea that this here may continue to push even higher, in which bulls may go ahead and take control, at least to the top of the trend line. Very possible. All right. So with that being said, guys, that's all it is. You want to make sure that you draw your trend lines very clear. You don't want to go out further than what you need to. You want to take advantage of scrolling your chart up and down, and then using your wheel from left to right, or you can even grab the bottom here and scroll this way just to maximize your chart and see where you fit in when you're trading. Guys, the deception of trend lines, the deception of your chart can be really tricky, and it can definitely affect the way you trade, put your entries, your take profits, and your stop losses. Guys, very simple analysis for GBPAUD. I'm looking to sell at this zone. Now, this can take place immediately or it can take some time because we're on the higher time frame and we plan on swing trading if you're planning on capturing 70 to 100 pips or so. All right, so we want to make sure that we wait for this price to take place. We're looking for the next play. We're looking to see if there's going to be strong wick rejection here by the end of the day. If not, it can very well come up to the top of our red rectangle or even higher. The highest I believe it will go before it start reversing is around 1.81330 price area. It can even maybe come up to about 1.80815 area. So we're just going to be monitoring this, guys. Let me know what you think about this particular trade analysis. I'm still short overall, or you can wait and be very conservative for a pullback, retest a level, something like this, before buying and pushing it to the upside. All right. So that will be really safe because if we're in an uptrend, you want to wait for a pullback and buy on support. Counter trend trade, you want to wait till it gets to the top of the channel or somewhere at the top of previous resistance when we looked left for clues over here. And then you want to short and sell, maybe looking for wick rejection. Now, counter trend trade is a little bit more difficult because you're actually getting less red candles and more white bullish candles in my case. All right, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below. Look in the description for anything that you like, our free Discord, our Academy, or even our Telegram. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next YouTube video. Have a blessed day, guys.